It's funny how perfect everything looked. How it felt like a dream I never wanted to wake up from. I can still picture it so clearly. The house we bought together, with its light-filled rooms and the smell of freshly baked cookies in the air. The kitchen was always so warm, a place where we'd sit, sip wine, and talk about everything and nothing at all. It was my safe space, my constant. We were good, or at least, that's what I kept telling myself. The dinners we shared, the quiet moments in bed, those whispered conversations about our plans for the future, they were supposed to be the foundation of everything. I kept thinking that no matter what happened outside these walls, we'd always have this. We'd always have us. I didn't know back then, but I was already blind to the things that were slipping through my fingers. There was no real warning at first. Just little things that I brushed off, pretending they meant nothing. When we moved in together, it was like a dream come true. I used to think that if anyone looked at us, they'd see how perfect we were. I always caught myself thinking that we were the couple others envied. But then, the small things started to add up, tiny cracks that began to show when I wasn't paying attention. I remember the first time it really hit me. We had dinner at that little Italian place we loved so much, my favorite pasta, the one with the creamy sauce I used to order every time. And for the first time in forever, he seemed distracted. He'd barely touched his wine. And when I asked him if he was okay, he just brushed me off with a half smile. It's nothing, just a long day. But I knew him better than that. It was more than just a bad day. The way his eyes looked past me, like he was somewhere else. I didn't say anything. I didn't want to ruin the night. So I laughed it off, tried to make a joke about how I couldn't finish my plate by myself. But I could tell something wasn't right. It wasn't the first time he had seemed off, but it was the first time I felt the distance in the air. Later that night, lying in bed, I waited for him to talk, but he just stared at the ceiling. The quiet stretched between us, thick and uncomfortable. I reached for his hand, but he didn't squeeze it back. I tried again, gently, hoping for some sign of warmth, of affection. I'm here, you know, I whispered, not wanting to sound too desperate, but feeling the gap between us grow with every second. He turned to face me, giving me a smile that didn't reach his eyes. I know, I'm just tired. It's been a long week. I wanted to believe him. I really did, but my gut told me something was off. I didn't press. I couldn't bring myself to ask the question I already knew I should have asked. What had changed? Why did it feel like he was slipping away? Even though we were in the same bed, the days passed, and it only got worse. The dinners were quieter. He came home later and later, always working or meeting clients or whatever excuse he used. He was no longer the person I used to turn to for everything. I couldn't remember the last time we laughed together, the last time we shared something that felt real. He became more distant, and every time I tried to reach out, he'd pull away just a little more. I kept convincing myself it was just stress, work, the house, money. All those things I told myself were keeping him preoccupied. But deep down, I knew. I just didn't want to admit it. I saw it in the way he didn't look at me the same way anymore. He'd glance at me, but it was as if he was seeing through me, not to me. His smile didn't reach his eyes. He stopped telling me about his day like he used to. And when I asked about his meetings, his answers were short, big, nothing I could cling to. Then one night, I found the first real crack, the first piece of the truth I had been too afraid to face. I was cleaning up the living room when I picked up his jacket off the back of the chair. A small, crumpled piece of paper fell out from one of the pockets. It was a receipt, a hotel receipt. The name on it was unfamiliar. I froze. I wasn't sure why I kept staring at it. I didn't want to believe it. I wanted to toss it aside and pretend like I hadn't seen anything. But my heart was racing, my thoughts scattered. Something about that receipt, the fact that it was there, hidden, felt like a betrayal in itself. I had been ignoring the warning signs, pretending everything was fine. But this was real. The proof was in my hands. The question bubbled up, and even though I tried to keep it down, it was already out of my mouth before I realized. Who is she? He froze, his eyes locked on mine, wide with surprise, and in that moment, I knew that everything I'd been denying was true. His face went pale, and he looked away, refusing to meet my eyes. It's not what you think. I couldn't breathe. It felt like the ground had shifted under my feet, and I was sinking, drowning in the weight of it all. The perfect life, the perfect marriage, the dream I'd built crumbling in front of me. Then what is it? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. What is it? If not what I think, He struggled, words failing him. I didn't need him to explain. I could already see it, feel it, in the way he was avoiding my gaze. I wasn't blind. I wasn't stupid. In that moment, everything I thought I knew about our life together shattered. I realized, with a sickening certainty, that the life we had built was nothing more than a perfect illusion. It was a lie, and I had been living it, believing in it, because I was too afraid to see the truth. The silence between us grew thick, and for the first time in a long time, I didn't know who we were anymore. I had never been the type to snoop. Trust was everything to me. But that morning, an unfamiliar nagging feeling was gnawing at the edges of my mind. I couldn't place it, but it wouldn't let up. Maybe it was the way he'd been distracted lately, or the fact that he'd been home late the past few nights. I didn't know, but it was enough to make me pick up his phone while he was in the shower. It wasn't like me. I'd never gone through his messages before, but I felt like I needed to know, to understand, why everything had started to feel so off. I shouldn't have. But the moment I saw the message, I couldn't look away. The text was from a name I didn't recognize. The words made my stomach turn. I miss you. I can't wait to see you again. Last night was perfect. You always know just how to make me feel special. I blinked, rereading it. No, this couldn't be real. It didn't make sense. He'd always been so devoted, or so I thought. But here it was, in black and white, proof of something I couldn't deny anymore. I felt like the world was shifting beneath my feet, and I had no control over it. My hands shook as I scrolled back through the messages. It was all there, months of flirtation, intimate moments, and words that were meant for someone else, not me. The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. Betrayal. My heart sank. I couldn't breathe. I closed his phone and set it down like it had burned me. My eyes blurred with tears that I refused to let fall. My mind spinning out of control. I wanted to scream, to throw the phone at him when he came out of the shower. But instead, I just sat there, frozen, when he came into the room, toweling off his hair, his face still dripping with water. I could barely look at him. My chest felt tight, like I was suffocating. My voice was a whisper. Hoarse. You've been seeing someone else, haven't you? His eyes met mine, and for a brief moment, I saw a flicker of guilt. But it was gone in an instant, replaced by that calm, practiced demeanor he always wore. He walked over to me, slowly, and sat down beside me on the bed. His hand brushed mine, and I wanted to pull away, but I couldn't. I was trapped in his gaze, even though I already knew the truth. What are you talking about? He said, his voice too smooth, too rehearsed. I didn't respond right away. I couldn't. I just stared at the phone I had placed on the nightstand. It felt like the entire room was suffocating me. The message, I finally said, my words barely making it past my throat. His face didn't change. He didn't even seem surprised. What message? I could feel the heat rising in my chest, my face flushing with anger. My hands were trembling as I picked up his phone and shoved it in his face. Who is she? He glanced at the screen for a second before swatting it away like it was nothing. It's just a friend. You're overreacting. Overreacting, I repeated, feeling my chest tighten with each breath. This is not just a friend. I know what I read. He shifted on the bed, as if uncomfortable with the tension. Look, it's not what you think. It's harmless. been stressful lately, and I needed someone to talk to." He said it so casually, as if he had an answer for everything. His words weren't a confession, they were a defense. I could feel the anger burning in me. Harmless. My voice was shaky, but I didn't care. "How long has this been going on? What else have you been hiding from me?" He sighed, clearly frustrated now. "You're making a bigger deal out of this than it is." "It's nothing." I couldn't look at him anymore. His words didn't make sense. Nothing made sense. "You've been lying to me for months." My voice cracked as I said it. He stood up, pacing in front of me like I wasn't even there. "This isn't the end of the world. We've been through rough patches before. We can fix this." I could barely focus on his words, my mind too overwhelmed with the weight of the betrayal. I stood up, feeling the heat rise to my face. My hands clenched into fists. "No, this isn't something we can just fix. You broke my trust." I took a shaky breath, trying to steady myself. "You lied to me, and now you're trying to make it seem like I'm the one overreacting." He stopped pacing and faced me, his expression hardening. "You don't understand. I've been under a lot of pressure at work. This was just a release." My chest felt like it was collapsing under the weight of his excuses. "A release," I repeated. Incredulous. "You think cheating is just some release. What about me? What about us?" He stepped closer to me, trying to soften his voice. "Listen, I'm sorry. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. I didn't mean to hurt you." I wanted to slap him, to scream, but I didn't. I stayed frozen, my body trembling with the force of my emotions. "You don't get it," I whispered. "You don't get it at all." His gaze softened, but it was too late. I had already seen enough. I had already felt the sting of the truth, the hurt, the disbelief. It was all too much. I couldn't stand there and listen to his words anymore. I had to leave, turning away. I walked toward the door, feeling like the walls of my own home were closing in on me. "I don't know who you are anymore," I said, my voice breaking as I stepped out of the room. The truth feels like a poison inside me, one that I can't shake no matter how hard I try. It's in my veins, spreading through my body, making everything feel heavy and wrong. I wake up every day with a knot in my stomach, the realization of what he did hanging over me like a dark cloud. Some days, I wish I could forget, but every time I close my eyes, all I can see is his phone, the messages that tore apart everything I believed. I love him. I want to believe he didn't mean to hurt me, that maybe it was a mistake, something that happened and can be fixed. But the anger inside me, the betrayal, it's like a fire. And no matter how much I try to drown it out, it keeps burning. I feel torn, like I'm being ripped into dot. My thoughts keep spiraling, round and around, each one darker than the last. Did I miss the signs? Were there things I should have seen before it all exploded? I find myself staring at the places in our home where we used to laugh, where everything was easy, the kitchen table where we once sat for hours, talking about our future, the couch where we'd curl up together and watch movies, wrapped in the comfort of our connection. It's all gone now. It doesn't feel like our home anymore. It feels like a place where lies were built. I can't help myself. I keep checking his phone. I know it's wrong, but the need to know the truth is so overwhelming. It's like there's this part of me that needs to see it, to have the proof. I tell myself this is the last time, but I know that's a lie. I feel like I'm drowning in my own obsession. I look through his social media, going back through the posts and messages like a detective trying to solve a crime I already know the answer to. I scroll and scroll, hoping for some new clue, something to explain this, something to justify what he's done. But all I find is more emptiness, more evidence that I've been living in a lie. He's been hiding things, and I can't unsee it now. I can't ignore it. The worst part is, I still love him. My heart still beats for him, and it makes the betrayal feel worse. How can I still love someone who hurt me this deeply? How can I want to hold onto something that has already slipped through my fingers? It's late when I finally put his phone down. But I can't sleep. I can't stop thinking about everything. My mind races, picking apart our entire relationship, looking for signs that I missed, things I could have done differently. I close my eyes, but every time I do, I see her as other woman, her words written on that phone. I see him, holding her in the dark. While I was right here, blind to it all, I get out of bed, unable to stay still. I grab my own phone, scrolling through my contacts, wondering if anyone else knows, if anyone can see the truth I'm trying to ignore. I text my best friend. But then I hesitate. What if I'm wrong? What if this is all just me overthinking things? I delete the message before I sent it. My head is spinning. I don't know what's real anymore. I don't know if I'm still seeing the man I married or if he's been someone else this whole time. I can't keep going like this. The doubt, the pain, it's suffocating me. I need to know the truth, no matter how much it hurts. I need to confront him. But every time I think about it, my stomach twists. What if he denies it again? What if he tries to make me feel crazy for feeling this way? I hear him moving around downstairs, his voice muffled as he talks to someone on the phone. My heart skips a beat, and a sick feeling rises in my chest. Who is he talking to? Why does it feel like I'm constantly on the outside of his life now? I hate this feeling. I hate how small and insignificant I feel when he's around. I make my way downstairs, the creak of the floorboards under my feet making my heart race. I stop at the bottom of the stairs, listening to him laugh on the phone. It sounds too casual, too carefree. My breath catches, my chest tightens. Yeah, I'll let you know, he says. His voice light and easy. Take care. He hangs up, not noticing me standing in the hallway. My feet are frozen to the spot, and I want to say something. I want to yell at him, to demand the truth. But all I can do is stand there, watching him, waiting for him to look at me, to see what he's done to me. Finally, he turns around, surprised to see me standing there. Hey, he says, his voice too calm. What's up? I want to scream at him. What's up? But I can't. I'm not sure I have the strength to do that anymore. Instead, I just ask, who were you talking to? He raises an eyebrow, his expression turning defensive. Just a work call. I feel my pulse quicken. It's the same thing he always says. It's always work or nothing. He's shutting me out again. And it makes me feel like I'm losing my mind. Really? I press, stepping closer. Just a work call. He sighs, rubbing his temples. Yes, really? I told you, I'm swamped with things. I can feel the frustration building in my chest. Why don't I believe you? I whisper, almost to myself. He looks at me for a moment, his gaze cold and unreadable. Maybe because you're looking for something that's not there. Stop overthinking everything. My anger flares, but I swallow it down. I'm not overthinking anything. I know what I saw. He stares at me, his jaw tightening. This again, my heart pounds. This again. That's how he sees me now, a crazy person, someone who's paranoid. Yes, this again. I snap, the words tasting bitter in my mouth. You've been lying to me. And I'm done pretending I don't see it. He stares at me for a long time, his face impassive. You're making this into something it's not. I shake my head, tears welling in my eyes. You don't get it, do you? I trusted you, and now I don't know who you are anymore. The silence between us feels like a void, a chasm that grows with every word that goes unspoken. I wish I could make this go away. I wish I could go back to the way things were, before I saw the messages, before I felt the weight of his lies. But I can't. And that's the worst part. I don't know if I'll ever be able to trust him again. It had been days since the text message, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. I couldn't stop thinking about her, whoever she was. That nagging feeling in the pit of my stomach. The feeling that something was slipping away from me kept growing stronger. I tried to ignore it, tried to move on. But the cracks in our life, in our relationship, were too wide now. I couldn't pretend anymore. Then I found the receipt. It was tucked into the back pocket of his jeans. The ones he left lying around in the laundry room. I shouldn't have gone through them. But I didn't care. I needed to know. I had to know that the name on the receipt was unfamiliar. But it was the hotel name that got me. The same hotel I had seen listed on a receipt from months ago back when he told me he was at her late meeting that I couldn't attend. His excuse was always the same, work. But this was something else entirely. I stared at the receipt, my hands shaking, the familiar weight of anger and dread flooding through me. I didn't even have to search further. I already knew. But I still reached for the credit card statement, hoping for some kind of miracle. The charges were there, plain as day, room service, late checkout. Another name. My pulse pounded in my ears. He was cheating on me. I could feel my world starting to crumble around me. I went to the living room, my heart hammering in my chest, and waited for him to come home. Every moment felt like an eternity. The house, once so familiar, felt alien. Every little detail, the soft hum of the fridge, the ticking of the clock on the wall seemed amplified in the silence that hung in the air. When he finally walked in, I was already standing, his keys still in his hand, my eyes locked onto his, and I couldn't keep the tremor out of my voice. "I know," I said. He froze, his gaze flicking to the floor for just a split second before he looked back up at me. His face blank. "What do you mean?" "You know," I held up the receipt, the credit card statement, the messages. "I know about her. I know everything." His jaw tightened, and for a moment, I thought he might say something. But then he just shrugged, as if it didn't matter. "I don't know what you're talking about." My blood boiled. I could feel the anger rising up. But there was something worse than the anger. It was the way he didn't care. It was the indifference. The way he was treating me like I was just another obstacle to deal with. He wasn't even sorry. There was no guilt in his eyes, no remorse, just coldness. "Don't lie to me," I snapped, stepping closer to him. "I have the proof right here, in black and white." "Do you really think I'm stupid?" He didn't even flinch. "It's not what you think." I could feel my pulse pounding in my throat. My hands clenched into fists. "Then tell me. What is it? What the hell is this?" I waved the papers in front of his face. "Explain it, now." He took a deep breath, then looked away. "I don't owe you an explanation." I couldn't believe it. He wasn't even trying to justify himself. No tears, no pleading, nothing. His indifference made the pain worse. "You don't owe me an explanation." "Is that what you're going to say? After everything we've been through? After everything I've done for you?" My voice cracked. But I didn't care. I had to get it out. "How long?" "A few months," he said, his voice flat, devoid of emotion. "A few months?" The words didn't feel real, like they were coming from someone else. I had to take a step back, my hand clutching at my chest like I could hold my heart in place. "You've been seeing her for months?" "I'm sorry." "Okay. But it's over now," he said, his tone flat, almost dismissive. "Sorry," the word stung like acid on my tongue. "Sorry? You think that's enough? You think sorry is going to fix this? You've destroyed everything." The words came out in a broken sob. "I trusted you. I loved you." My voice was shaking now, my body trembling with the weight of everything I had tried to ignore. "But you don't love me anymore. You never did." "Not really." He didn't move. He just stared at me like I was some problem he had to deal with. "I never meant to hurt you." The words were hollow. I didn't want to hear them anymore. "You don't get it, do you?" I whispered, my throat tight. "You don't get how much this hurts. You took something I gave you, something I trusted you with, and you threw it away like it meant nothing." He just stood there, his gaze avoiding mine, his hands shoved deep into his pockets. His indifference cut deeper than anything he could have said. I had never seen him like this, detached, distant. This was a man I didn't even recognize anymore. "I've been living a lie," I said, my voice barely a whisper now. "All these years, I thought we had something real. But you've been lying to me. You've been hiding this from me, making a fool of me." He shifted uncomfortably, but didn't say anything. I don't even know who you are anymore, I muttered, tears starting to blur my vision. I don't even know me anymore. He finally looked at me, his eyes cold. I don't know what you want from me. It's done. It's over. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry for what I did, but there's nothing we can do about it now. I took another step back, the weight of his words crushing down on me like a tidal wave. No, I said quietly, shaking my head. You don't get to just walk away from this. You don't get to just pretend like it's over because you say it is. I felt like I was suffocating. My body was shaking, my mind spinning with everything that had been building up for weeks, months. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think straight. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw something at him, but I didn't. I just stood there, the truth crushing me under its weight. In that moment, I realized something. He didn't love me anymore. Not the way I loved him. And he wasn't going to fight for me. He wasn't going to beg for my forgiveness. And I couldn't keep begging him to love me, to come back to me. I had already lost him. The silence between us stretched. And finally, I spoke, my voice barely above a whisper. You've made your choice. Now. So have I. The truth is suffocating me. I can't breathe without feeling the weight of it pressing down on my chest. I try to sleep, but I can't. Every time I close my eyes, I see him with her. I see the messages, the lies, the way he used me. The trust I had in him is shattered, and there's nothing left to hold onto. I'm exhausted, physically, emotionally, mentally. But every time I try to close my eyes, I hear his voice in my head. I hear the lies. I hear the way he shrugged everything off like it meant nothing. It's just a phase. He said, you're making a bigger deal out of this than it is. And part of me wants to believe him. I want to believe that I'm just overreacting. But I can't unsee what I've seen. I keep asking myself, how did I not know? How could I have missed the signs, the late nights, the strange messages, the way he'd grown so distant? But when you love someone, you convince yourself that nothing could ever break that bond, that nothing could ever come between you. But here I am betrayed, broken, questioning everything. I can't stop replaying every moment, every little detail. I find myself walking through our house, touching things that used to mean something. The couch where we watched movies together, the bed we slept in, the kitchen where we made breakfast on weekends. Now, they feel like nothing more than reminders of the life I thought I had. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know whether to fight for my marriage or walk away. I keep telling myself that it's over, that it's too late, that he doesn't deserve me. But then a small voice in my head whispers, what if he changes? What if this is just a rough patch? I hate myself for even thinking that. But I'm so desperate to find some way back to who we were, the life we had. It's like a hole in my chest that I can't fill. And then I remember he doesn't love me anymore. Not the way he once did. Not the way I love him. I try to reach out to my friend, Rachel. She's always been there for me. The one person I can count on. I text her, telling her I need to talk. But when she calls, her voice feels distant. I'm sorry you're going through this. I really am. But honestly, I think you need to let him go. He's made his choices. Her words hit me like a slap to the face. Let him go. The words are so simple, so easy for her to say. But they feel like a death sentence to me. I want to scream at her that she doesn't understand, that she doesn't know what it's like to love someone so much that you would do anything for them. But instead, I just sit there, swallowing the tears. Rachel, I don't know what to do, I say, my voice breaking. I don't know how to walk away from this. I don't know how to move on. There's a long pause on the other end of the line. And then she finally speaks. You don't have to do it all at once. You just have to take one step. That's it, one step away from him. And the next step will be easier. I don't respond. I just hang up the phone and curl up on the couch. My mind's spinning. One step. It sounds so easy. but I can't see a way forward. I can't see a life without him in it, even though I know that this life is over, that the person I thought I knew is gone. Part of me still clings to the idea that things could be different. I feel pathetic for it, but I can't help it. My mind starts to spiral. What if he regrets it? What if he comes back? What if I'm the one who pushes him away? What if I let him go and I regret it for the rest of my life? I keep coming back to that regret. What if I'm making the biggest mistake of my life by even thinking about walking away? What if this was just a mistake that could be fixed? I don't know how long I sit there, staring at nothing, before I finally force myself to get up and do something, anything. I go to the kitchen and make myself a cup of tea. But it tastes like ash in my mouth. I feel like I'm going through the motions, like I'm existing, but not really living. I want to scream. I want to throw something. But all I can do is sit there, feeling completely powerless. I hate him for doing this to me. I hate him for making me doubt everything we've built. But I also love him. And that's what kills me. I hate that I still feel the pull, the desire to fix this, to fix him. I want him to apologize, to beg for my forgiveness. But I know deep down that won't happen. He doesn't care. I think about revenge. I think about doing something to make him feel the way I do. Something that will make him regret ever betraying me. Maybe I could tell everyone what he did. Expose him for the liar he is. I imagine the look on his face. When everyone knows, I picture him losing everything, the respect of our friends, his career, our family. But then the thought hits me, is that really what I want? To destroy him? What would it solve? It wouldn't bring back the trust, the love. It wouldn't change what he did. It would just make me as broken as he is. I can't let revenge be the thing that defines me. I can't let him win like that. But a part of me is desperate for something, anything that can make me feel like I have control. Like I'm not the one being crushed by the weight of this betrayal. I'm lost. I'm completely lost in all of this. I want to break free, but I don't know how. I want to walk away, but I can't. I keep asking myself, what if I could forgive him? But I know that's a lie. He broke something inside me that can't be fixed. Not by him, and not by me. I stand in front of the mirror, staring at myself. I hardly recognize the person looking back at me. Who am I? What happened to the strong, confident woman who believed in love, who believed in us? I wipe away the tears that have begun to fall. This is it. I tell myself, it's time to move on. It's time to let go. But saying those words doesn't make it any easier. The battle inside me rages on. But I know one thing for sure, I can't keep fighting for something that's already gone. I have to fight for myself. Even if I don't know how, even if I don't know what comes next. But for now, all I can do is take one step. Just one. I can't stay silent anymore. I just can't. The weight of what I know, what I've seen, has been suffocating me. The anger and the betrayal, it's all building up inside me like a storm waiting to explode. The moment I found out about the affair, I should have said something. I should have told everyone. But I didn't. I kept quiet, hoping it was just a phase. I told myself that maybe things would get better. But they haven't. I'm done. I can't pretend anymore. Not for him. Not for me. I grab my phone, my hands shaking as I scroll through my contacts. I think about the people who've been there for us, our closest friends, my family. They need to know. They deserve to know the truth. Because I deserve to be heard. It's time to expose the lie, to tear down the facade he's built, and finally face what's been haunting me. I hit send. I don't even think about it. I just do it. Within seconds, my phone buzzes with a message. It's from Rachel. She's shocked. Of course she is. But she's supportive, telling me that she's here for me, that I'm not alone. And for the first time in days, I feel a little lighter. Maybe it's the relief of finally sharing the truth. Or maybe it's the fact that I'm not the only one carrying this burden anymore. But the moment passes quickly. I don't even wait for the fallout to come. I don't want to. Later that night, He walks in, looking like everything's fine, like nothing's changed. I'm sitting on the couch, still holding my phone, my heart still racing from the messages I've sent. I feel like I've just dropped a bomb. But I'm numb. He stands there, staring at me for a second before his gaze flicks down to the phone in my hand. I can see the tension in his face, the way he's trying to read me. He knows something's different, but he doesn't know how much. Why did you do that? His voice is calm, but there's a tightness to it that I know means he's panicking inside. I look at him. I want to say so much, but I only manage a cold. You don't get to keep pretending anymore. You don't get to act like everything's fine. My voice shakes, but I'm done holding back. I'm done pretending. I'm done being your doormat. He blinks, as if my words have caught him off guard. He takes a step toward me, but I can feel the distance between us now. It's wider than I ever thought it could be. You don't have to do this, he says, his voice softer now, but there's still the arrogance beneath it. We can fix this. You don't have to make a scene. A scene? He thinks I'm making a scene. He thinks this is my fault. No, I say, my voice gaining strength. You broke me, and now I'm letting the world know exactly who you are. The words hang in the air like a slap, and I see his face harden. You're going to do this to me. He steps closer, anger now seeping into his tone. You're going to ruin everything we've built for this. He gestures toward the living room, toward the life we created together, as if it's something precious. You're going to ruin us over a mistake. A mistake. My throat tightens with anger. You think cheating is just a mistake? You think everything we had was a mistake? I can't keep the bitterness out of my voice. You destroyed us. You destroyed me. His expression shifts again, and for a second, I see it a flicker of guilt, maybe regret, but it's gone too quickly. You're making a bigger deal of this than it is. This doesn't have to end like this. Please, don't do this. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I'll fix it. His words are empty now. They feel like nothing more than air. And I know they're nothing more than a desperate attempt to get me back into his control. But I'm not buying it anymore. I don't want him to fix it. I want him to own it. You think I can just forget? I ask. My voice cracks, but I push through. You think I can just forgive you and pretend everything's fine? You don't get it. You've shattered me, and you want me to act like I don't care, like it doesn't matter. I see the anger in his eyes, the way his jaw tightens. But this time, it doesn't faze me. I'm not scared of him anymore. You're being dramatic, he says. Why? Can't you just let it go? Let it go? I repeat, incredulous. You think I can just let this go? Let you go on like nothing happened? No. I stand up now, my hands clench into fists at my sides. You don't get to make me feel small. You don't get to walk all over me anymore. You don't get to pretend like you're the victim. He scoffs, stepping back. You're crazy. I'm not crazy, I say, my voice shaking with the force of my emotions. I'm done. You've ruined me. And now you want me to make it all better. You want me to forgive you for what? For cheating on me. I take a step forward. You're not the man I married. You're not the person I thought you were. I'm trembling now, my body's shaking with the weight of it all, but I don't care. I'm leaving. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm leaving you. His face hardens. You think you're just going to walk away from everything we've built? I nod, slowly, the finality in my voice almost startling. Me? Yes, because I deserve more than this. I deserve someone who respects me, someone who doesn't lie to me. There's a long pause, and I watch as he stands there, the silence between us suffocating. Finally, he speaks. You'll regret this. No, I won't, I say, the tears finally slipping down my face. I'll regret staying, but not this. I walk out of the room before he can say anything else, before he can try to manipulate me again. I don't care anymore. I've made my decision. It's over. It's strange, the way life starts to shift when you stop letting someone else control the narrative. It's not instant. It doesn't happen overnight. But slowly, piece by piece, I started to reclaim my life, my body, my mind, and for the first time in months, I felt something like peace. Not that desperate, frantic need to fix what was broken, just a quiet, steady calm. Work became my anchor. The routine of it, the familiar tasks, helped ground me. I didn't have to think about anything else when I was buried in spreadsheets or meeting deadlines. I poured myself into it, and the distraction felt like a lifeline. When I wasn't at work, I started focusing on the things I had put aside for years. I joined a gym, made myself dinner without worrying about anyone else. Even went out on my own a few times just to remember what it felt like to be alone. But not lonely. I stopped texting him. I stopped waiting for him to call. I realized, little by little, I wasn't waiting for him to fix me. I was fixing myself. The first time I realized I was changing was when Rachel called me one night, her voice full of excitement. "I'm so proud of you, you know that." I laughed, but it was a soft, unburdened sound. "For what?" "Everything," she said, her tone softer now. "You're doing it. You're actually moving forward." I couldn't help but smile. Feels strange, honestly, like I'm just going through the motions. But I'm doing it. I'm really doing it. You're not just going through the motions, though, you're living. You're finding your own way again. Her words felt like a bomb on a wound I didn't even realize was still there. The words stung. But in the way healing stings, when you're finally allowing yourself to feel again. "I'm starting to believe that," she chuckled. "And don't forget to take a break from all the work. You've earned it." I grinned, shaking my head. "Yeah, I'll try. But for now, it feels good to keep busy." And it did. The silence, the steady hum of normalcy, was something I hadn't realized I'd been craving. I wasn't broken anymore. Not the way I thought I was. I was learning that I was more than just a wife, more than just someone defined by another person. I was me, independent, strong in ways I didn't even know existed. But it wasn't all easy. There were still nights when the loneliness crept in, when the silence felt unbearable. I'd find myself lying in bed, staring at the empty space beside me, wondering why everything had fallen apart. It wasn't fair. I had loved him. I had trusted him. And yet, I was here, picking up the pieces alone. One of those nights, I was sitting at the kitchen table, a cup of tea in my hands, staring out the window. The streetlights were casting long shadows across the pavement, and everything felt still, too still. Then I saw my phone light up, and my heart skipped. It was a text from him. "I miss you." I stared at it, my finger hovering over the screen. The temptation was there to respond, to ask him what he wanted, why he was contacting me now after everything. But I didn't. Instead, I put my phone down, almost surprised at how easy it was. He didn't get to do this. He didn't get to waltz back into my life just because he decided he missed me. Not after everything he'd taken from me. I felt this strange sense of power, knowing I didn't have to answer him. I wasn't at his mercy anymore. I wasn't waiting for him to decide when he wanted me. The next day at work, I was so focused on my tasks that I hardly even thought about him. I found myself getting lost in the work, in the flow of everything. I realized I hadn't felt this way in months, like I was actually present, like I was living, instead of just surviving. Lunchtime came, and I found myself sitting alone in the cafeteria, eating my lunch without feeling the weight of sadness hovering over me. For the first time in so long, I felt free. Rachel texted me again. "I'm so proud of you." I smiled, feeling something shift inside me. I didn't need his approval anymore. I didn't need anyone's. I wasn't defined by someone else's love or betrayal. I was strong on my own, and that was enough. The realization hit me then, and it was like a dam breaking open. I had been giving him the power over me for so long. I had been letting his choices, his actions, dictate how I felt about myself. But not anymore. Not today. I wasn't just healing from betrayal. I was building a new life, one that didn't rely on him or anyone else to make it whole. That night, I sat at my desk at home, Looking at the work I had completed, at the emails I had sent, I smiled. I wasn't just getting through it. I was thriving. I glanced at the photo on the desk one from before everything went wrong. It was a picture of us, smiling on a beach vacation. A distant memory. I had loved him once. I had trusted him once. But now, all I saw was a reminder of who I used to be. And I realized, for the first time, I was okay with that. I wasn't who I was before the betrayal. And I didn't need to be. I was someone new, someone stronger, someone wiser. And that person didn't need to beg for scraps of affection from someone who had never truly loved her. The next day, I found myself sitting across from a therapist. I had scheduled the appointment a week ago, not really sure if I was ready. But I needed help. I couldn't process everything on my own anymore. "How are you feeling today?" she asked, her voice soft, welcoming. "I'm okay," I said, my hands clasped together in my lap. "I think I'm finally starting to feel like myself again." She smiled. "That's great to hear." I nodded, the weight on my shoulders finally starting to lift. I was taking control. I was healing, slowly. But surely, I was finding my way back to who I was before him, not the woman who had been broken by his betrayal, but the woman who had always been strong, capable, and worthy of love. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I could breathe again. And I wasn't going to let anyone, especially him, take that from me. I didn't hear the knock at first. It was a soft rap, the kind you ignore when you're too deep in thought. But then it came again, louder this time. My heart stopped, a familiar tension tightening in my chest. I didn't even need to look through the peephole to know who it was. I didn't want to answer. I didn't want to face it. But I did. When I opened the door, he was standing there, his eyes searching mine with that same desperation I hadn't seen in months. His face was tired, drawn like the weight of everything finally caught up with him. He looked different, but it wasn't the kind of difference that made me feel anything but distant. The man I had loved was gone, replaced by a stranger in a suit that barely covered the wreckage he'd caused. "What are you doing here?" I asked, my voice colder than I intended. "I had to see you," he said, his voice thick with something between guilt and longing. "Please, just let me explain." I shook my head before he could go any further. I'd heard it all before, the excuses, the pleas, the promises. Explain what? I wasn't sure if I was more angry or just exhausted by the idea of going through this again. That you've changed, that you've seen the error of your ways. His face softened. "I have changed, I swear. I've been going to therapy. I've been working on myself. I know what I did was unforgivable, but I'm asking for one more chance." I couldn't stop myself from laughing. It wasn't a real laugh, though more like a desperate, hollow sound that broke through the wall I had built around myself. "You're asking for a second chance? After everything? You think I'm just going to forget about what you did to me?" "I never meant to hurt you," he pleaded, his voice cracking with the weight of the words. "I made a huge mistake. I'm sorry. I want us to start over. I want you back." I looked at him, standing there in the doorway, pleading, begging. But I didn't feel that rush of emotion I used to feel. There was no spark, no warmth, just coldness. "I want you back." Those words used to be everything. But now they felt like nothing but a hollow echo. "Do you really think I could just go back?" I asked, my voice low. "You destroyed me, everything I believed in, everything I thought we had gone. Because you couldn't be honest with me." He took a step forward, reaching for my hand, but I pulled it back. "Please, I know I messed up. I've done everything wrong, but I swear I'm better now. I've changed. I love you. I always have." The words were so rehearsed, so easy for him to say, but I knew them for what they were, a last-ditch effort to get me to let him back in. I had been here before believing him, wanting to believe that he was the man I had married. But that man was gone. That man had betrayed me, and that man could never be the same again. "I don't need your apology," I said, looking him straight in the eyes, feeling my heart beat. Slow. Not anymore. His face faltered. What do you mean? You don't need it. I'm trying here. I'm trying to make things right. Making things right isn't just saying the words. It's showing me you can be a person of integrity, and you didn't do that. You lied to me. You cheated on me. You broke me. And I let you break me over and over again. He stepped back, his expression pained. I never wanted to hurt you. I swear, I never thought I would lose you over this. You didn't lose me, I said, the words coming out with a finality that shook me. I left you the moment you betrayed me. And it's not about whether you've changed or not. It's about me realizing that I don't need you anymore. I don't need your hollow words or your promises. He stood there, silent now, his lips trembling as he searched my face for any sign that I would relent. But there was nothing left in me to give. You think you're the only one who's hurting? You think I'm not? He asked, his voice rising, frustration leaking into his tone. You're just going to throw everything we had away. Just like that. Everything we had, I echoed, staring at him with disbelief. You're not hearing me. You threw us away the moment you decided to betray me. And I'm not throwing anything away. Because it was already gone. You don't get to decide when it's over. Because you already did that. His face twisted in a mix of anger and regret. But there was something else. There's something I hadn't seen before. It was a raw vulnerability. For a moment, I almost felt pity for him. But then I remembered everything he had put me through. And I realized I didn't owe him anything, not pity, not forgiveness. I have to go, I said, my voice quiet now, but firm. I don't want you here anymore. I'm done. I turned away, not giving him a chance to speak. I walked into the living room and sat down, feeling the weight of my words settle around me. The air felt thick, but it wasn't suffocating anymore. It felt like a door that had been closed for good. He didn't leave right away. He stood there for a moment, and I could hear him breathing in the hallway. But I didn't look back. I couldn't. I had already said everything I needed to say. He was already gone from my life, whether he understood it or not. After a long silence, the sound of his footsteps faded, and the front door clicked shut. I exhaled, a breath I didn't realize I had been holding. I was still here. I was still standing. And for the first time in what felt like forever, I felt, okay, it wasn't about him. It wasn't about what he wanted. It was about me, about finally taking control, about reclaiming the life I had let slip away. And that was enough. It's strange how life works. There's something almost poetic about the way everything comes full circle, the way karma has its own way of balancing the scales. For the first time, I felt like I was witnessing justice unfold before my eyes. It wasn't the kind of justice I had imagined, full of confrontation and revenge. No, it was quieter, more subtle. But oh, how it hurt him. I saw it in the way he started to look at me differently, like the weight of everything he'd done was finally sinking in. The lies, the betrayal, the affair. It had been months since I told him I was done. And yet I could still see the damage in his eyes when we crossed paths. It was there, whether he admitted it or not. The regret, the realization that he had lost everything that had once mattered to him. But karma, in its quiet, patient way, had other plans for him. And I found myself, strangely, in the position of being the one who didn't have to lift a finger. He'd been begging me for months, text messages, phone calls, random visits to the apartment where I once lived, trying to apologize, trying to piece together some kind of reconciliation. But each time, I turned him away, and each time, I felt less and less the need to explain myself. What was there to explain? His actions spoke louder than anything I could say. One day, I was at work when I got a call from Rachel. She sounded almost relieved when I picked up. Hey, she said, her voice tight, as if she had been waiting for me to pick up the phone. Are you sitting down? I frowned, already sensing the urgency in her tone. Yeah, what's going on? You might want to hear this, she said, and I could hear a slight hesitation in her voice. I ran into her, his other woman, the one he was seeing behind your back. I didn't know what to say. I knew about the affair. I knew everything. But hearing this, hearing Rachel say it out loud, somehow made it feel more real. Okay, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. What happened? She was with a guy, Rachel continued, her voice dripping with something between sympathy and satisfaction. Not him, though. The way she acted, the way she brushed him off, she looked uncomfortable, like she wasn't even sure what she wanted anymore, like she was second-guessing everything. I could feel a strange satisfaction rising inside me. I'm guessing things aren't going well. Rachel's laugh was low, almost apologetic. Let's just say she's not exactly getting the fairy tale ending she thought she was going to get. She's been distant with him, from what I gather, and, well, it looks like she's finally seeing him for what he really is. I felt a bitter smile curve on my lips. Karma, well, I guess that's fitting, I said, my voice steady now. It always has a way of coming back, doesn't it? Rachel didn't say anything right away. She just let the silence hang, and then she sighed. I thought you'd want to know. It's like you said all along. He never appreciated what he had until it was gone. I leaned back in my chair, feeling the weight of everything finally shift. I know, I said softly, I know. But I'm not worried about her or him. I'm more concerned about what I've built. And it was true. While he was left to deal with the consequences of his choices, I was standing tall, feeling more like myself than I had in years. I was living in a way that felt right, that felt honest. I had found my strength, my dignity, and that was more than he could ever take away from me. The next few weeks were a blur. He called again, of course, and when I didn't answer, he sent text after text, each one more desperate than the last. I'm sorry, he wrote. I miss you. I want to make it right. But I never responded. I didn't need to. One afternoon, as I was coming home from work, I saw him standing in front of my building. He was pacing back and forth, his hands in his pockets. His shoulders were hunched like he was carrying the weight of the world. And for the first time, I didn't feel pity. I didn't feel a shred of anything for him. There was no sympathy, no desire to fix him. There was just nothing. I didn't approach him. I didn't speak to him. I didn't need to. I walked past him, my head held high, feeling an unspoken sense of triumph surge inside me. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was just the knowledge that I had taken control. And for the first time in a long time, I was the one who had the power. The realization settled in slowly, but it hit harder than anything else. I had survived his betrayal. I had lived through it, and now I was stronger for it. I didn't need him. I didn't need anyone who had ever treated me like I wasn't worth fighting for. When I got home that night, I found myself sitting in front of the mirror, my reflection staring back at me. The person in the glass wasn't the same one who had cried herself to sleep months ago. No, this woman had learned her worth. She had found her voice. She had walked away from a man who never deserved her. I didn't need him to apologize anymore. I didn't need his forgiveness. I didn't need to hear him beg. What I had now was something much more valuable, my peace, my independence. And no amount of regret or guilt from him could take that away. I'm not the same person I was when all of this started. When the betrayal first hit, it felt like a death sentence. Like everything I had known and loved was suddenly stolen from me. I was consumed by anger, heartbreak, and confusion. But now I'm standing here, in this quiet, peaceful place, and I realize I'm free. It's funny, isn't it? How much we hold onto, even when it's dragging us down. I spent months fighting the anger, trying to get him to understand what he had done to me, to us. But the more I tried to fight it, the more I realized I didn't need him to understand. I didn't need anyone's validation anymore. I was the only one who could fix this, who could heal. I'm sitting on my balcony right now, a cup of tea in hand, the soft breeze brushing against my face. I don't even remember the last time I felt this calm, this content. The weight that used to be on my chest is gone. The anger that used to fuel every waking moment is nothing but a shadow now. I'm finally at peace. I didn't get here overnight. I didn't wake up one day and decide everything was fine. But little by little, I've rebuilt myself stronger, more focused, and definitely freer than I ever thought I could be. I can hear the soft hum of traffic in the distance, the occasional car passing by. It's quiet, peaceful, and I'm not afraid to be alone anymore. I've learned to embrace it, to enjoy it. There's a sense of calm now that wasn't there before, a sense of peace I never thought possible. The pain that used to eat me up inside is no longer my constant companion. Instead, there's something new, something lighter, freer. I used to be afraid of being alone, of being without him. But now, I look around, and I see that I've built a life that's mine, a life that doesn't need anyone else to define it. Not his love, not his approval, not his apologies. Just me. I laugh softly to myself. It's not even about the anger anymore. I've let that go. It's not about proving anything to him or anyone else. It's about knowing I can stand on my own 2 feet. That's the victory. I've learned that healing isn't about forgetting. It's not about erasing the past, pretending it never happened. It's about accepting that it did happen and realizing that I'm still here, that I'm stronger than I ever thought I could be. A few months ago, I couldn't even imagine being here feeling this calm, this in control of my life. I couldn't imagine waking up without that hollow feeling in my chest. But I've learned something important. Healing takes time, but it also takes self-love. It takes strength. It's not just about letting go of the anger, but about embracing everything that's left me. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of who I've become. I stand up and walk over to the railing. Looking out at the city below, it's strange, but I feel like I'm finally seeing the world with fresh eyes. Everything feels different, like I've been given a second chance, not at love, not at the life I had with him, but at my own life. The one I almost forgot about. The one I buried in the mess of betrayal and heartbreak. But now I see it clearly. I see the possibilities, the future waiting for me. It's mine to shape. I think about how far I've come, and for the first time, I'm not angry, I'm not sad, I'm not even bitter. I'm grateful that I found the strength to walk away, grateful that I didn't let his actions define my worth, grateful that I got the chance to rebuild, to grow, and to finally find peace. And I know, deep down, that I'm not just healing, I'm thriving. There is a life waiting for me, one that's mine, and mine alone. And for the first time in a long time, I can say with certainty that I'm not afraid of it. I'm ready for it. I'm done looking back. It's time to move forward.